Hello and welcome to another episode of Jarabug Plays Lonely Mountains Downhill. Downhill. We unlocked nighttime, which is kind of awesome. We can't just do it every single, everywhere we go here, but it's pretty slick. It's pretty slick nonetheless. We're gonna try to unlock other night times. I'm debating whether or not to just run this and play this out. You know what? Let's do it. I don't know why I'm debating for so long here. But yeah, hope you're doing okay. Hope you're doing all right. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing whatever it is you want to be right now. I had a coworker that never liked having people tell him good morning because they're like, "What's so good about it?" And that's I mean, I understand it. I understand it. You know, some days it does feel like that. But there are some days where I can kind of like fake it till you make it. Which is kind of like the way to say, you know, put on a smile. Maybe you'll feel like smiling after a little bit, but most likely still feel like garbage. But, you know, it never hurts to try. Okay. I'm doing a lot of this by memory. And it feels like something's about to jump out at me. Ooh. It is very satisfying though, driving or biking around at night. Yeah, at night. We're taking as little amount of shortcuts as possible just to make the. I realized that I started this sentence right before I hit a tree. But I wanted to ride the trail as smoothly as possible. That's why I was trying to skip shortcuts and avoid hitting anything. But I realized the folly in my ways. Okay, so here, weave, bob and weave. Yeah, I hope you're, I don't know what day this video comes out. I try not to keep attention to that, because then I try to start making topical sense. Around the holidays, obviously last week was like a Thanksgiving week, Black Friday, etc., etc. But this is a plain old week now, you know, for another 3 weeks. We're gonna get boring conversation. I mean, boring is a strong word. You try coming up with stuff at the top of your head while playing a game that is slightly difficult. Okay, it's not really that difficult, but some parts are, like especially if you're going for time, etc., etc. I was trying to look for other YouTube videos of people like making it pretty far, but it doesn't seem like it's. You know, YouTube videos in general have gone the ways of the trash heap. You know, like everybody's so scared of adpocalypse. You know, not being able to quote unquote be themselves, which if you read into it, it's like, oh, I can't be an obnoxious butthole in the internet. Sorry, excuse my French. Or else I get demonetized. You know, it exposes a lot about the gaming community, and I understand. I'm coming at this. This is like Oh boy, oh boy. Pot calling the kettle black situation. You know, as I'm complaining about other people. complaining about people that are complaining about everybody else. Is basically what I'm talking about here. You know, like there's openings to have content out here, but again, it's one of those situations where it's just like, do people want clean content? I don't think so. Like, from what I've been finding, like, people are mostly inclined to not be able to connect with you because you're not speaking their language. Which brings you into another conversation of, like, what is the gamer's language, quote unquote? Like, it's interesting. Interesting to ponder. Okay, so here, because I know that video games can be more rage-inducing than not. You know, that's part of why I chose the name that I have. People are like, why the monk part? The gyro part, I get, you know, Jerome. Why the monk? You know, it's a weird word to say. Actually, both words are weird to say and weird to type. So, do you just not want to be successful? Why? But no, it's a lot of it is like grace under pressure kind of thing, or at least being able to handle a certain amount of pressure before cracking. I feel like it's not natural. And it's something that I want to practice personally, and practice what I preach, etc., etc. I'm not really preaching much of anything here, except be yourself doesn't have to mean be a bad person. But being a bad person is what makes me money on the YouTube channel. You know, that's exactly why people hate corporations. You know, it's one of those things that's just like, hey, let's flip that one back. That's why all of these you hear words like corporate robot, etc., etc. It's because a lot of the actions are because they're monetarily based. You know, and I feel like that's one of the main attractions with the new age of content creation. You know, it used to be you had the .coms, you had IGN, you had Kotaku. I mean, you still have those sites, but primarily you're looking for the name. You know, a lot more people are looking for who wrote this article. Was it Jason Schreier, etc., etc. Who at Giant Bomb wrote this article? Because if it wasn't Jeff Gerstmann, then why would I waste my time? You know, it's the reason why I personally like the move to that is just it's just nicer. There's a lot more accountability to put onto a specific item. You know, you're responsible for your own work. Why does it have to be offensive all the time? Why does it have to be just a cesspool of sorry for the dramatics here. A cesspool of memes is what I was actually gonna say. It's a little bit of an aggressive episode. Maybe it's the nighttime. The nighttime is making me. This sounds like an old Gungeon episode. I might have spoken about this exact thing on Gungeon, but What's funny is if I ask this a specific thing to somebody who is successful, guess what they're every time, like 9 out of 10 times, I guess. That's not every time. And so I kind of backpedaled a little bit, but pretty much most of the time. Every time, sometimes. The answer is gonna be I have to be toxic because that's what gets clicks. So I guess that kind of reveals more about the audience, I guess. Which I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you at this point. Just know that you're a rare person in this ecosystem. Just checking out some lowly content creator that tries to not be. I'm being toxic against the toxic people. Is that not a good thing? I feel like I'm having a civil conversation with myself against the junk out there. I didn't realize that this was a free ride, which is basically no crashes. You know, they should advertise it as such, because free ride makes it sound like, you know, oh cool, let's just bike around, let's just have fun. No, it's 0 crashes go during the nighttime. Oh no! Oh no! Okay, all the way to the top. Like you never stop. Can you go down low? All the way to the floor. I haven't been to a wedding in a while. I don't know why I think of weddings when I think of line dancing. My family was over for Thanksgiving and we were talking about like Filipino gatherings. We used to go to one like pretty regularly around Christmas time. There was maybe like 7 parties that the local community of Filipinos gather around and do, and it basically was a reception every single time. We're talking like tons and tons of food. Everybody's dressed up in whatever Filipino garner the garments they have. If you don't know, it's like a, I forget what the actual name is for it, but it's like paper clothes. But it's like formal attire for the Filipinos. But yeah, along with that, non-stop line dancing, you know? Like there's 2 things that you'll always see at a Filipino party. It's like line dancing, maybe 3 things here. Line dancing, food, and karaoke. You always catch the karaoke. That's why a lot of okay, hold on, let's go through here. I mean, I kind of obtained a lot of that. If you've been following the content for a while, you'll know that I bust into the songs every now and then. I get that from my mom. I turned on the Carpenters for when she was over, and she was just singing the whole time, having a good time, hanging out with her one and only granddaughter. I say granddaughter specifically because she has 2 other grandchildren, which I'm sure she cares about as much. Well, okay, so let me put some context for you. I am one of 3 boys that she had. She wanted a daughter as the second one and wanted to try again, and third one's a boy, and we're like, all right, we can't do this. we can't just handle all these boys. And when my oldest brother got married, you know, that was her chance to finally get a granddaughter to spoil and to dress up in dresses and all of that. And lo and behold, boy, another boy 4 years after. So, when I had a girl, she was trying to play it coy. She was like, well, I don't really know how to play with a girl baby, you know? I was like, are you kidding me? But yeah, she's infatuated with Charlie. Probably a little bit too much. No, there's no such thing. A grandmother's love is eternal. Did we finish this? It doesn't feel like we finished this. Okay, we did. Cool. There's our nighttime episode. Nighttime biking. Oh, it's like you just flip a switch. Whoop. Challenge is completed. 3 out of 4, 3 out of 4, 3 out of 4. Oh boy. Should we go back to these or should we try to finish these? Let's see, that's the pace breaker, 150 or fewer. 135, 7 crashes or fewer. Oh, we don't even have the bore unlocked, so we can't do Trail 4. Javelin 155 and 7 crash. That one we definitely can't do. This one I'm not sure. 154 is our prior record, so we can try this out. But we're gonna start there next episode. Thank you so much for listening and hanging out and being awesome, being cool. I'm gonna keep the content going, content flowing. We got some new stuff planned. Well, we got some co-op stuff planned to post up on the channel. We have a couple Let's Plays recorded. We have a couple. We checked out Shift Happens. It's a co-op game. We're planning on posting some Overcooked on here. You know, just a little State of the Union at the end of this episode. If you got this far, then you probably care about this, okay? But thank you so much for hanging out and being cool. I hope your day goes well. If it's the end of your day, hope your sleep goes well. Catch you on the next one. See ya.